Hi, friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing great. The topic for discussion today is the strategy for cracking the current affairs part in the civil services examination. Now, you all would know, current affairs is one of the most fearful factors for many people, especially when I get to speak to people who like want to get into the preparation and all. They keep telling me that, oh, I'm not a pro with respect to current affairs, or it is not in my habit to read newspapers. Will I be able to like survive this examination and all? But from my experience, I've been reading newspapers for quite a long time because since my school time, I had an alignment towards civil services in that way. But otherwise, I wouldn't tell you that it's a compulsory thing that you need to have a history of reading newspapers and all. You can start it at any point and then get ahead with it. But nonetheless, current affairs is something which shouldn't be neglected, is what I would say, because that is what is giving relevance to all the static subjects that you are learning. That is becoming the single most important reason for certain questions to appear in your preliminary or main examination. I'll give you an example. If you're studying history and there is a historical event, maybe the first war of independence or the 100 years of adoption of constitution, if there is an anniversary or a celebration in remembrance of a particular historic event in terms of its jubilee year or milestones with respect to that regard, that is likely to appear as question in the preliminary or main examination. So that way, it's not just that you're learning history, you're putting it into relevance and understanding that in this particular context, this particular historical event could be asked as a question. So that way you align your preparation accordingly and get the right insights, is what I would say. Coming to the first part of current affairs preparation, that actually begins with the newspaper reading itself. So initially, when you read a newspaper, you have no good idea as to how to go about with it, what should be taken as important, etc. I think I can make a separate video on how to read a newspaper in itself, because it's an art which you master over a period of time, and when you have completely mastered it, maybe you need just half an hour to cover a newspaper and get all the important insights from it, and maybe use it as relevant examples for all the papers that you have to write. Now, the newspaper that I used to read was the Hindu. I did not read multiple newspapers except for maybe the regional newspaper I used to have a glimpse upon. But otherwise, I was not reading multiple newspapers. You can also read the Indian Express, whichever is of convenience to you. Hindu, I've been reading for a very, very long time. And what I used to do is that in the morning, that's the first thing that I used to do, that reading the newspaper. Or say I used to take the important newses and maybe related to my can be used as examples for my mains examination question papers answers, or that can appear as preliminary questions, etc. And I used to underline and mark the important news details. And after that, what I used to do is at the end of the day, I used to again go back to the same newspaper and read that again and make notes out of it, maybe important points. Note means not extensive notes. If there is an example that I need to add to my mains notes, I used to add it from there, from the newspaper to my notes. And I used to review and reread the newspaper so that anything that I'm reading is sticking onto my mind. So reading it in one go and leaving it behind will not let you remember anything from the newspaper. So it's highly recommended that you re-revise your newspaper also, so that you have a clarity on what are the topics for the day and which can be of relevance to your examinations. So that is a really important and a very helpful strategy that I followed. Secondly, as I told you, when I was having my notes, I used to have notes like General Studies 1, 2, 3, 4, and ethics and all of that. So I used to add whatever was the current affairs related example or development that is of significant importance into my note itself, so that the second and third time that I want to revise it, it's already there in my notes. I may not go back to the newspaper, I can leave the newspaper behind and go ahead. So that way it can be done. And thirdly, what I used to do apart from newspaper is that at the end of the day, all these coaching institutes will publish their own current affairs compilations for the day. So personally, I used to refer to the Drishti IAS wala current affairs website website, which used to have consistent details of the topics for the day, and they even took previous year questions in relation to that, or maybe they curated their own mains questions in relation to that particular development. That can be done. I used to refer to maybe I think I used to refer to Insights also, or sometimes I used to refer to Civils Daily, but I think Drishti was a very good site. Also I used to refer to PIB, the Press Information Bureau. वहाँ पे आपको डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट से वो इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाती है कि क्या क्या आज हुआ है, और बहुत सारे स्पीचेस भी मिल जाते हैं, जो स्पीचेस जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर और प्रेसिडेंट और एक मंत्री कर रहा है, वो एक तरह से एक समराइज वर्शन हो जाती है अपनी न्यूज़ की, बिकॉज दे पुट आउट ऑल द इम्पॉर्टेंट डिटेल्स एंड all the recent developments in their speeches to make it more relevant. So that way for us it is a very easy point of summarizing what we also need to understand from the daily details. So that I used to do. And then coming to the end of a month, that is when you have to revise the monthly current affairs. So that place I used to refer to Vision IAS monthly compilation. I used to download it and read it and mark it, highlight it using various colors and all. I used to keep it in my storage so that I can re-revise and go back to it anytime. So without the help of daily newspaper reading, going to the monthly compilations, I don't recommend that, because if you don't have a daily hint as to what is happening, reading a monthly compilation would not make any sense to you. That can be done, and when it comes to the end of a year, you will get the PT 365 or mains 365 compilations of the Vision IAS website itself. That was also really helpful. All this has to be done in addition to your newspaper reading and the daily current affairs reading, and that can be a revision part for you. और इन सब चीज़ें करके भी मैं ये ज़रूर बोलूँगी कि मेरे पहले अटेम्प्ट में मैंने बहुत सारे फोकस करंट अफेयर्स को दिया था. आई हैड गिवन अ लॉट ऑफ फोकस टू द करंट अफेयर्स पार्ट, एंड माई कोर्स बेनिफिट वॉज very low. So that way I understood that current affairs shouldn't be neglected. Maybe you give examples, maybe you use it as a reason to understand why certain questions appear, but उसको ज़्यादा एक not beyond the level is what I would say, because if you're reading hundreds of current affairs magazine, you're going to get very less result from it. So because in the preliminary examination especially, what will help you is the static subjects like history, geography and art and culture and ancient history and all of that. Because they're more they don't change according to according to time. So and even if you try to cover current affairs, you wouldn't be able to cover everything under the sun that is happening daily. So that way, please focus on on the static subjects more and less on the current affairs part is what I would say. And as I told you, you can link the static plus the current affairs part to get a relevance and to understand what kind of mains questions can appear in a certain year because of the relevance of certain historical or certain geographical conditions and that particular point in time. So if a tsunami has occurred, if western disturbances come in and all of that, so that way you will be able to understand the relevance of certain events or certain weather phenomena or sort like that. Now these days there is a new trend in prelims that again a lot of international relations related questions are also being asked. So that can also be gotten directly from your newspaper reading itself. So previously we never had such questions, but now they are linking many countries and their capitals and certain events to certain countries, etc. तो उसके लिए तो आपको ज़रूर करंट अफेयर्स की ध्यान ज़रूरी है. So that's an added brownie point if you're reading current affairs, that you'll be able to answer such lengthy questions which are in relation to international relations also. So this was broadly my strategy for current affairs preparation. Most people fear it, but I would definitely tell you that with the strategy, you can definitely approach it in a very comfortable manner. And as always, if you have any queries with respect to any part of preparation, you can definitely get in touch with me via the comment sections or through my social media platforms. So I wish you all the best in your preparation. I hope it is turning fruitful. Stay healthy, stay happy. Until the next video, it's a goodbye from me. Thank you.